How can we heal the world if we cannot heal love? Where does this begin if not in the home?
Home for the holidays, I've missed each and every face. Let's play one soft and easy, turn on every love line. In the place I find myself totally surrounded in your circles. Come on, my friends, and please celebrate me home.
Two.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. Knowledge is Power. I'm Wanda Miller, the host. This week we have a full house and a full program. I have with me Lori Haynes, and far left is Amy Jensen. I got them right. I finally got them right. I'm kind of confused here because we have guests that were already scheduled, and then this whole thing blew up with the unemployment centers being closed. And I was at one of the members of the SEIU 668 labor union contacted me through Facebook and invited me to a rally on Monday, so I went. Stinky and I went, actually, and I met some of the people there, and I thought really need to put faces to this whole issue. So they're going to talk a little bit in the beginning, and then I'm going to have my other two guests join us. So anyway, we're going to start off with, well, I guess I should say first, next week, we're not going to be on the air. Ace and I are taking the week off to enjoy the holidays. And we will be back in January. And we're going to have a month-long series of shows on human trafficking because it is going to be Human Trafficking Awareness Month. So we're going to dedicate the whole month to the different issues of human trafficking. It's a big problem in New York, and not a whole lot of people really know about it. So let me get right to it here, and because I want to give them some time to talk. So I want to do the Golden Hammer first, and the Golden Hammer this week is going to go to all of my guests who have been on the show since day one. I wouldn't be able to do this if they weren't willing to come on the show. I'm always flattered and honored when they accept my invites to come on. I have had on some really great people. I've had on Dr. Sherry Kim, and she's talked about trauma. I've had on Jen Kreider. I've had on Kristen Tulo of the Humane Society. I've had on the ladies from Turning Point that deal with childhood sexual abuse, which is another great organization. I've had on so many. I've had on trying to think who else is Patty Kim. Representative Patty Kim was on. She was really great. So I've had on a lot of people, and it's just really amazing to me. Carl Christopher, can't forget Carla. So I just want to give everybody the golden hammer for coming on, putting up with the craziness that sometimes ensues in live television, and hopefully we'll have another good year. And I also got to thank my loyal cameraman, Ace. Ace, turn around here, pop your head so everybody sees you, because I wouldn't be able to do this either without Ace. It would be a really boring show without Ace, because Ace puts up all the graphics and things, and so we got to thank Ace. So moving on to our friend here, Stinky. Stinky, for I don't know, is it like the third week or so, is going to Senator Scott Wagner again. So until Senator Wagner gets his crap together and stops abusing people and these organizations and these companies and starts really acting like a human being instead of a Giacomo put it that way, you're going to get the skunk, because there's no reason that anyone who is in his position should be acting this way. He is incredibly unprofessional. I'm going to read a letter that he wrote to one of the labor workers, and it is just so unprofessional. It is completely unacceptable for us to have elected officials like this. We need elected officials that are going to go out there and represent us as the people. Wagner does not represent us. His tagline is, I'm the private sector. Well, then go back to the private sector and let somebody have your job that's really going to do it, all right? Okay, going on to, Ace, can you put up the numbers here? I have the numbers again this week because the holiday season is difficult for some people. I know I have PTSD. My mother passed away earlier this year, so holidays are kind of hard for me too. So, don't feel embarrassed about it or guilty. If you need help and you're not doing well, please get help. We're going to put some numbers up here for you. First, can we do the WellSpan crisis? WellSpan crisis is 717-851-5320, and the 800 number is 1-800-672-2496. And then the next one we have is True North Wellness Services. That is 717-632-5900. And then we have Dr. Sherry Kim, and Dr. Kim does have a walk-in clinic every Wednesday from 10 to 2. So if you're in need, please go see her, go to her agency. She's on 18 South George. Her number is 717-739-6576. And I also am going to have Ace, we periodically flash Senator Scott Wagner's number. His number is 717-846-2828. I would encourage everyone out there to call him and discuss with him or whoever answers the phone the necessity of the people that work at the unemployment agencies and why this is incredibly unfair to not just the workers but to their families and to people that are getting laid off. It's just a mess. So if you feel strongly about that, please call and let him know. Now, I'm going to start this before I talk with these two ladies because they're going to give personal stories. I just want to read, this was an actual article, and I don't have the date on it, but it wasn't too long ago. But this is just the type of thing that I'm talking about with Senator Wagner and his behavior. So this is the behavior that I'm talking about. 'Tis the week before Christmas, and State Senator Wagner gave 600 call center employees and thousands of Pennsylvanians a giant lump of coal. This Monday, 3 of the Commonwealth's 8 unemployment call centers are going to start handing out layoff notices to roughly 600 employees and eventually shut their doors. This move from Senator Wagner is intended to put a strain on the state's unemployment system as a whole. Laid-off workers having trouble navigating the online application process may have to wait for hours on hold in order to reach a state employee, and since the workload has basically doubled for the other 4 call centers, it is possible that workers may have to wait 2 weeks or months to have their applications processed. Have to wait weeks, I'm sorry, not 2 weeks, have to wait weeks or months. And to have their applications processed and start receiving their unemployment checks. To make matters worse, Governor Wolf signed a bill last month that would allow almost 44,000 seasonal construction and retail workers and truck drivers the opportunity to collect unemployment when they are not working. But what is the motive behind all of this? Late at night on December 1st, an irate call center employee emailed Senator Scott Wagner through his campaign website. The soon-to-be laid-off employee called out the senator by starting off with, "You were the one bragging to not bring House Bill 2375 up for a vote, and that we deserve to lose our jobs at unemployment," and goes on to state that they are a Republican who is not in line with the union. The employee then goes on to tell the senator, "You all need to grow a pair of balls and take responsibility. You are all to blame. All of you need to get a clue." At this point, the enraged email ends with the employee warning Senator Wagner that career criminal politicians were the reason why. Senator Wagner sends a gem of his own from his personal Comcast account the following morning. Senator Wagner tells a soon-to-be laid-off worker that, I appreciate your email. You are clearly mistaken to assume that I am a career politician. You should do your homework on me. From your email, it is safe to assume that you are affected with the layoffs. He then goes on to give his magic bullet theory. Wagner believes that Governor Wolf is blaming the senator for the unemployment, so Governor Wolf can lay off other state workers. The senator continues with, I will not tolerate Senator Wolf putting a gun to my head and demand we find another $57.5 million for L&I when in fact $420 million has been wasted since 2006. The people who wasted this money should be fired instead of low-level layoffs. Do you agree? And finished with, trust me on this, I am not a career politician and I have big balls. Question is, do you have the backbone to meet with me and get the full story? Well, I'm just going to add one thing. Mr. Wagner, if you have big balls, maybe there's a prostate issue and you should get that checked. SEIU Local 668 President Tom Herman described Senator Wagner's actions as something purely political by a wannabe governor. The union president explained that there was a deal in place on the passage of House Bill 2375 between Governor Wolf and the four caucuses, but on the day of the vote, Senator Wagner convinced Senate leadership to pull the final vote from the agenda. While the bill was making its way through the Senate, Senator Wagner did not take a vote on the bill in the Labor and Industry and Appropriations Committees. Herman explained that his members are very angry at the moment and have been encouraged to contact the senator by any means necessary. Regarding the senator's ballsy email, Herman said that it was arrogant, unprofessional, and pompous, but quipped something along the lines of, this is not anything new coming from Wagner's office. And this is Senator's full email. This is what Senator Wagner wrote. This is what one of our elected officials wrote, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate your email. You are clearly mistaken to assume that I am a career politician. You should do your homework on me. From your email, it is safe to assume that you are affected with the layoffs. Gee, you think? There is a much bigger story. The Lancaster UC Center was scheduled to be closed in June of 2017. There are other layoffs taking place that are not call center employees. The call center layoffs are giving Governor Wolf cover to lay off more people and blame me in the Senate. I will not tolerate Governor Wolf putting a gun to my head and demand we find another $57.5 million for L&I when in fact $420 million has been wasted since 2006. The people who wasted this money should be fired instead of low-level layoffs. Do you agree? Of course, you pay union dues. What is your union doing to stop the layoffs? I would be happy to meet with you. Trust me on this. I am not a career politician, and I have big balls. Question is, do you have the backbone to meet with me and get the full story, Scott Wagner? Well, I have one thing to say to this. Senator Scott Wagner, I'm a ballsy kind of gal, too. So here's my invite. Why don't you, in the new year, why don't you contact me? You can contact me through email. It's kempowered@gmail.com. And set up a time to come on the show, and we'll have a discussion. How about that? Do you have the balls to beat me, Senator Wagner? Let's see if you do. And with that being said, I'm going to turn it over to these two ladies because these two ladies have been impacted. Okay, who wants to start by telling your story? And I should also, to show solidarity and unity for the workers, I'm putting on my nifty SEIU 668 cap. Okay, so
I'll start.
Who wants to start? You want to start? Okay, great.
Do you have a question that you want me to answer? Or
I want you to just pretty much I want you to be able to, put a face to this issue. I want you to explain how is this impacting you, what's happening in your life now, and how is this, you're losing your job. How it has to be impacting you in a very negative way.
And actually, the impact started the day that the furlough was announced. That was actually the toughest day because being a state employee, you're of service to people, and you know what the effects are going to be immediately. We all knew what was going to happen. My husband and I both work there. He is part of AFSCME. He's not here, but we both were furloughed. Mm-hmm. We both started our careers there about 8 years ago, and we've been married for 12 years. We just bought a new home. About 2 years of searching for it, and dealing with our previous unemployment before we before we got our jobs at unemployment. We were both unemployed. And so we have a daughter who's in college, her third year. We have pets, we have car payments, we're just normal people like anybody else. And it is fearful. It's a fearful situation to be in. And it's, the loss of an income is bad enough. The loss of the health insurance is probably the scariest thing for me. My husband he has a debilitating disease called rheumatoid arthritis, and the medicine for that without insurance is $6,000 a month. Obviously, we can't afford that. So I'm in awe that these amount of positions were eliminated, and I don't blame the secretary. I don't blame the governor. They had the bill and they didn't vote. They didn't do their job, period. Doesn't matter the outcome of that vote. They didn't vote. If I was to do that in my job, I wouldn't be there if I would refuse to do my job. And I am a constituent of Senator Wagner, and so I feel a little bit more connected to it because of that. And I want them to come back. I want them to reinstate this bill and get it voted on, because it's not just the workers that are affected, it's everyone that's unemployed. The 44,000 more people that are going to be on unemployment. It's going to be a situation that we had back in 2009, 2010, where people were on hold for 4 and 5 hours to get benefits, and it's not all done by the internet. A human being actually takes care of you when you file for benefits. And there's a lot of workers that don't work in the service center that were affected too. I am not in a service center. I wasn't part of the Harrisburg call center, but I'm part of the process, and as my husband is. And you will feel the effects of this for quite a while, I think.
Yeah, and I think the other issue here is just reading that email. If any employee went to their boss and said, well, I have balls, what are you going to do about it? I think you'd be fired too.
Yeah.
So I think we need to start holding these people accountable.
Absolutely.
More than we are. So again, Ace, can you just keep putting that number up as much as possible for Scott Wagner? It's 717-846-2828. So I feel for you. I really do. I think my mother she worked in a factory. She used to work at RCA way back in the day, and she was part of a union, and it's people are struggling out here, and I think we need to start getting more. We need to start getting more leaders that understand that, instead of people that are trying to constantly undermine the health, well-being, of people like yourself, that really are just living. You're living on that edge all the time. And one other thing that I always try to correct too is that people will say, oh, well, government employees have it made. No, they don't. They don't make.
Actually, that is really a big
That's a
misconception.
big myth. It is.
We do not make. I mean, we make a living, but it's a normal living like any other average family. It's not an exorbitant salary. Our pension, we pay a lot into our pension. A lot. Between the two of us, it's about $600 a month. That's more than my mortgage.
Yeah.
So, that's something that when you choose to go into state employment, you're choosing that because of security, but you're also funding that security. So the state gets to invest your money that you've earned in the fund and earned interest and things like that, and that's how they pay for it. But that's not a free thing to us. We still pay for health insurance. It's not free. We're just, like I said, we're normal average people.
Yeah. And it's so unreasonable to ask anyone who's unemployed to pay for Cobra because it's so exorbitant.
I think ours was what, 600,
600.
Oh,
Mine
600.
was, yeah.
600 for a single and like 1,400
Yeah.
For the family.
For a family. And there's 3 people just at the HOC in Harrisburg, the Harrisburg Overflow Center. There's 3 people in that office that have cancer. All 3 of them are in the middle of a chemo treatment, and on the 19th they lost their health benefits. I mean, I'm looking at a health issue with my husband that's expensive, but he's not going to die if he doesn't get it. They could die if they don't get it, and their lives are important too, you know?
Yeah, and that's the sad part. You know, Senator Wagner, you know, you want to be a governor? You want to be a governor and yet you're willing to let people die? I don't understand that at all. And I don't understand this this weird fixation he has on Wolf either. I don't get that either. I mean, I just kind of like, does he have some kind of bromance that he hopes to have with Wolf or something that Wolf isn't? I don't know. It's just weird. And it's just, but the point is that in all this weirdness, people are getting hurt. That's the take home point of this, is that these are real people. And I'm going to show a little video clip then where Wagner is talking about low income folks, and one of the things, this was back in the summer when they were trying to get the minimum wage up, and one of the things he says is that the people that were protesting, they were being paid. I can guarantee you, Mr. Wagner, these ladies are not being paid by me because I have no money. This is my budget right here. I have a budget for water for my guests, and that's it. I don't get compensated for this. Ace doesn't get compensated.
No.
Yeah. So nobody's.
I didn't get the 150. Did you?
No, I didn't get the 150 either.
Nobody's exchanging money here. So, well, Lori, how about you? I'm sure that
She basically made me set it all. But there's a few things that I do place blame on our secretary, because she's known. I'm part of a OUC committee, and we've been going back and forth with this for quite some time. April, I know for a fact, is when it really started, the talk started. So she was a part of it, and she also was a part of choosing who closed down. So I've been all over the news, York Daily Record, York Dispatch. I'm getting so much backlash because of what Wagner did on our last day. On the 19th, he went to the Altoona Service Center and handed out $150. Well, Eichelberger did. He handed out a Christmas card, and $150 was in it. Some did not accept it, where others did. Well, I made a comment about that, and on Facebook, then it was like, I'm bitter because I didn't receive the money. I was called names and different things. It's not about the $150. I want my job back. I was with the Lancaster Service Center for 16 years. I'm a chief shop steward for the managers, or the supervisors, excuse me. Before that, I know. Before that, I was a chief shop steward for our members. And I became a shop steward as soon as I started, like a week into my employment. So I have always been SEIU and for my brothers and sisters. That $150 was a slap in the face. Unlike what you're hearing, we don't get paid $100,000. No way. We need somewhere to live.
Combined,
Right.
we don't earn $100,000.
We need a place to live. We need transportation. We need food every day. These are necessities for everyone. Everyone. So I don't understand what he doesn't get. What is our union doing for us? Our union is doing a lot for us. I'm doing a lot for our union. It goes both ways. Now what's going to happen because of this come January, with all the layoffs, with us being furloughed, the 44,000 being added to it, and the others, wait times are going to be tremendous. I mean, it's going to be high. They can accept 900 calls. They have ports. 900 calls can get into the queue at once. That just went down. It used to be 1,200. So now it's going to be even longer wait times. Longer wait times to get a determination in the mail. Who knows when we'll get our first check? Anyone for that matter, not just us. everyone else that's going to be applying. It's in the fear of not knowing what's next. You're used to getting up every day, going to work.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're not doing that. Since Monday, I've been on the road collecting gifts for our members so they can all have a nice Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
So you decide with your last paycheck, do you give your family a Christmas or do you pay your rent and your bills? What do you do? He needs to get it together. He is the one, we're putting so much blame on him because he said he put his foot in it. He said shut them down. Mm-hmm. And now it's like he's backpedaling.
I will never forget those words.
Me either.
Ever.
No, don't backpedal now. And where are you? You want to sit and meet with someone? Well, we've been to your office. You're never there. Mm-hmm. We call, you don't return our phone calls. You come to the Lancaster office with no cameras or anything. You just came there because you were in the area. But what was what was behind that? Why did you come there? For what? We have a business to run. We can't shut our business down because you showed up. Mm-hmm. So if I went to Penn Waste, can we shut the business down because I have something to say? No. And I'm a constituent of his also. I live in New York City. I don't have a problem with meeting him anywhere. I will meet anyone, anywhere, anytime, mm-hmm. to discuss what this has done to us and the citizens of Pennsylvania.
I think that it's important for everyone to realize that when you have been in a position of service to people, you want to do whatever you can to make sure that the process that they have to go through. Unemployment is a very confusing process for most people. Mm-hmm. And it's not just about, I got laid off, so I'm going to file online and I never have to call in. There are people who get fired. There are people who quit. There are people who are collecting pensions and are self-employed and contractors. All of those issues have to be addressed by us. And when they're not, mm-hmm. that's what holds the benefit. And then somebody calls in and it creates more of a backlog. And I have worked on special projects where back when unemployment was at its highest, we were dealing with cases from one particular service center, 13,000 of them, that did not get adjudicated because unemployment was so high. This is what's going to happen. It's going to create the same situation, not because unemployment is high, but because the amount of people doing the job are so much less. So you're going to run into all these things, and it's actually going to cost our state and taxpayers more money because the request for the money to handle the work that didn't get completed that's going to have to happen. And so it's actually going to cost more money.
Now,
so
you brought your daughter with you.
I did.
You did. Would you mind coming around here and just, she's wearing green, so we have to make sure. Can you just come around, like pop your head, just stand behind her so we can get her in the frame here maybe, so she can just, so you can see. I mean, this is, we want to see. I mean, are you the one in college?
Yes.
So she's in college. What are you studying?
Communications.
What? Oh, cool. I have a degree in communications. So, this is, have someone here that is, what year?
Junior, so I'll be my second semester next year.
Okay.
Yeah. That's the most important thing.
Yeah.
Making sure
Yeah.
that she makes it through without the stresses of our financial issues. We don't want that extra stress to create. She's a very good student. Dean's List. I don't want that to stop because she would be worrying about us. And, she said to me tonight when we were getting ready to come here that what she worries about is us losing our house. And that's a typical response from a kid who, even though she's an adult, she hasn't been on her own yet and doesn't know the pressures of that. And so what her main concern is us losing our house. I will not allow that to happen.
Yeah.
But it will certainly be more difficult than it would be if I could go to work